soul family. I'm Gabby. Welcome to my Spiritual Awakening channel. Today we're going to talk about doing your life review while you're still alive. Now, if you don't know what a life review consists of, it typically happens when people have near-death experiences or actually when they die. Okay? There's been so much research on NDEs, near-death experiences, where people describe so many different scenes and settings, but the overall life review is the same, where they get to see from every aspect of their life who they interacted with, how they made those people feel, what it is that they experienced, what challenges they faced, how did they go about it, all the different possibilities that you could have taken that you didn't take, or the ones that you also did take. It's just an in-depth process. Now, to be honest with you, I don't believe in heaven and hell, but I do believe that when you're having your life review, it can be considered like hell. Because imagine if you're experiencing the pain that you cause somebody else. And maybe in your lifetime, you may have atoned for that pain you caused someone else. Maybe you were abusive and you beat up your girlfriend or you beat up your boyfriend or whatever. The smallest thing, okay, will be reviewed. It's going to all come up to the surface during your life review. So you might have thought, oh, well, I apologize for that already, so I don't have to really, go through that. That's not the case. At your life review, you're basically going to go back into that very circumstance. And you're going to be on the opposite end. Because you know how you felt while you were whooping that person's ass. But now you get to be the person. You get to feel everything that they felt while, they were being abused by you. Whether it's verbal abuse, whether it's emotional abuse, whatever pain you inflicted at your life review, you feel. You experience it. So a lot of times I think that can be considered hell, because it has to be hell to know that everything that you do, you're going to have to now feel in your life review. Keep that in mind, which is why I invite you to participate in this exercise that I started doing. And I feel as though, and there's no way to prove it right now, but I feel as though if you do your life review now, while you're still alive, and you go back into those situations that were difficult, that you knew you were wrong, and you start to analyze it and shed light on it and experience it and put yourself in that other person's shoes, you now can lessen the blow when you have your life review. Because it's almost like, imagine, you took a test and you failed pretty bad, and you failed. But instead of, your teacher pulling you in the, to the side and saying, listen, you didn't do so well. I don't know what happened. I thought you knew the material, yada, yada, yada. You went and you restudied and you learned what you did wrong. And you came back and you said, listen, I know I failed on this question. I had to remember, I had to go back and study, but, now I understand where I got it wrong at. You know what I mean? So now, your teacher is looking at you like, wow, you really took the time to correct yourself. And that's what a life review is, because you want to do this correction before you incarnate again into another life. They want to make sure you know what you did wrong. You know what you did to other people and how you treated other people and made them feel. So because of that, that same concept, it's almost like you're correcting yourself before somebody can correct you. So do your life review while you're still alive. Now, how I did mine was I went back as far as I can go. I don't know. I know some people who remember being babies. I don't know how their memory is that sharp, but I don't remember that shit. But I went as far back as I can go. I could go back up until I was about 5 years old. From birth to 5, I don't know what the hell happened. It's like blank to me. I've only seen maybe 2 baby pictures of myself. And they were like black and white, old school pictures. And apparently there were more, but they were burnt in a house fire when I was a baby. So I've never seen any more than 2 pictures of me as a baby. And you could barely make me out because I was so dark. I was the chocolate little baby with, curly hair. That's all I remember. But for the most part, I went back to 5 years old. So you go from that year, the year that you were able to remember, and then you, in chronological order, you start documenting events. Any event that comes to mind that was important, even if it wasn't important. Because you might not think it's important now. Like, oh, you had this fight with a kid in 5th grade. And, for you, it wasn't important. You just, that you was fighting. You was a fighter in elementary school. But for those kids, how did you make them feel? Were you the class bully? When your teacher constantly told you, that they were going to call your parents. Why were they threatening to call your parents so much? What the hell were you doing? What kind of student were you? Then you go up. You go into your teenage years. You start documenting, when you first started dating, your first time falling in love, your first heartbreak, the first time you got into an argument with your best friend. All these different things are important events that's going to come up for your life review. So anything that was significant and anything that you can remember, start documenting it in chronological order. Now, you're going to need a good notebook. I would not suggest using your magic book for this exercise. I would suggest getting a separate notebook, okay? And get some good pens, because this takes a while. Like, if you do it correctly, honestly, I've already went through an entire notebook, and I haven't even made it to my 20s yet. But it's because I'm being detail-oriented, and I'm not looking at my perspective only. I'm looking at the perspective of the people involved. You see what I'm saying? So that's going to take longer. Now, if you was just looking at how you treated other people from your perspective and what you think, then the exercise is going to be, maybe 5 pages and that's it. But when you add the perspective of the people you interacted with, what feelings might they have had that you just brushed off? Those things come up in your life review. So do your life review now while you're still alive. Start to atone for these things. Anybody that you have wronged, write their name down on a separate piece of paper. Write that feeling down that they may be carrying or that you may be carrying, okay? And you want to send love and light. You want to hold that paper at your heart center. And you want to deeply apologize for any pain that you caused. That person may have already passed over. That person may have been dead and gone. That might be your parents. Maybe you caused your parents so much struggle and stress. Maybe you had a drug addiction and you were stealing from your mom and dad and they got so fed up with you that they put you out the house. You know what I'm saying? And they're gone now. And now you've awakened from that addiction and now you're a new person and you want to atone for that. You want to do this life review. So you send love and light. You put that paper, okay, in your heart center and you breathe it in and you visualize those situations and you change them in your psyche. So instead of sitting with them that's the way they played out, you go back in time and you visualize playing them out in a different way. What would you have done differently? Play it out, visualize it, and take that piece of paper, okay, and you burn it and you release it, okay? I invite you all to participate in these exercises because at your true life review, I just think it's going to make it so much easier for you. I think it's going to be necessary to your ascension to get a head start, to start early and start going back before you get further along in your journey and your path, you know. And, you know, you don't want to necessarily be 75 trying to do a life review when your memory might not be the greatest. Just saying. And even as you go along, document events, things that go on still now in the present that you may not have been handling correctly. You know, shed light on those situations. Document it. Any important event, document it. It's going to make it easier to go back and start doing your life review surrounding those events, surrounding those interactions with other people, okay? Your life review also includes how you treated yourself. Were you harsh on yourself? Were you unloving to yourself? Did you spread all your love out to everybody else and you forgot to love yourself? Yeah, that's going to be hard. So let's shine light on the shadows, okay? And on that note, please like, share, subscribe. I love you all. More videos will definitely be coming. I want you to have a great day in love and light.